Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Square Circle Jerks podcast. I am your host, the bad boy of easily listening radio, and with me, as always, the city councilman for the first district of Slamton, Michael Carcetti. Our sponsor for the evening is Kazakhstani fried Chechen.
I promise not to run against incumbent mayor Johnny Muda.
Correct. He will take you to Slamton.
Excellent. We are back after a bit of a hiatus to give you our thoughts on what's going on in pro wrestling right now.
The Raslin.
And we've been away because those who are unaware, I have a job.
That's not true.
But the specific problems of the job is that 2 people quit last month. And they have not hired replacements for either of them. And I am doing their jobs. So on the bright side, this means overtime and money. On the dark side, this means I'm not spending a lot of time at home and therefore not watching a lot of wrestling. So
Correct.
It's a slight problem as far as the podcast is concerned.
Yeah, because you're the one that does the recording. So any audio issues can directly be attributed to his fault.
Pretty much, yeah, entirely. It is the cross I bear for this podcast.
We're going to start a GoFundMe. We're going to send him to audio engineering school, which is useless because you can pretty much just YouTube that shit.
Hey, I'm perfectly willing to take money to go to audio engineering school.
Let's go back to them dorms.
Hey man, the dorms were a good time in my life.
That is true. That was an interesting and hilarious time.
It was. It's where I met some very interesting people that I still talk to now. Most notably Sonia. And yeah. There are various basketball teams that fear me in a car battery now. So there you go.
It was always an interesting time because that's when you and I met. It was like 2006.
Yeah, I was in college for the first go around when I was doing computer engineering.
Yeah. So yeah, we would sign on to Stickam, and at least once a week, Mike could be like, "So you guys ready for story time?" And we're like, "Oh, what happened this time?" Well, this is the thing.
This is the thing. There was a car battery and a dude's testicles. I may have caned the guy.
Giggity. And then he was over, and that man was Tommy Dreamer.
That's true. That's true. Anyways, let us get into things that are happening. You want to start with NXT, Lucha Underground, or the New Japan?
Are we going to talk about Evolution? Have we talked about Evolution?
We can talk about Evolution. I think I have notes for Evolution. Let me have a quick.
I don't have notes for
I have notes.
I have notes for none of the things.
All right, let's talk about Evolution. It was kind of the big deal. It was a really good pay-per-view, and of course, the first WWE all-women's pay-per-view, overshadowed by the Crown Jewel pay-per-view that we will not really discuss because
I would say
pretty shit.
The only way it could be considered overshadowed is just the shitstorm of dumbass publicity.
Well, that's where I was getting at. The overshadowed in terms of the budget to go with the advertisement of Crown Jewel.
Yeah, it was not a positive outcome. It's like, hey, let's go to a country that just literally murdered a journalist and also hosted by Hulk Hogan, who's a horrible racist.
Well, my point has always been more that like people are bringing up the Khashoggi thing as a reason not to go to Saudi Arabia. I'm like, oh, fuck that. They've been doing that since they founded the country, guys. Mm-hmm. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but I mean, just from the sheer public ridiculousness of the whole thing. Like, if you didn't know that's what they did, they do worse than that. They will stone women to death in the streets for being raped, if you weren't aware. Mm-hmm. And they will, if you want a fun time, look up genital mutilation. Mm-hmm. These are literally things that happen all the time.
Oh, it's
killing journalists, minor shit.
It's like I've always said when people bring up Iran or Iraq as, reasons for the Middle East being fucked up and why people trying to justify, for example, the travel ban on Muslims that Trump wanted to pass and so on. I'm just like, you don't actually know anything about the culture, do you?
No,
because if you did, these would not be the people you'd be angry with.
Yeah, literally none of the people that are on the ban list. I don't know about literally, but I would say the vast majority of the people that are on the ban list are not the people you want to ban.
The only country that I've really supported the idea of the ban for was Somalia, due to their lack of an actual centralized government to verify like identities or anything. Like it's
they got a pretty good coastal government though.
Yeah. Well, they have various smaller governments. But yeah, like when they were like, okay, well, because of 9/11, we're going to ban these 7 countries from, Muslims from these 7 countries from traveling into the United States. So, these are the countries that were behind 9/11, right?
Yeah.
Except that,
not really.
All 7 of these countries had nothing to do with it.
Nothing at all. But there was one that had a large financial stake in the situation.
Saudi Arabia. It's like if you want to talk about 9/11. And not even talking like conspiracy theories here. Like the official story of 9/11 is a basically Saudi-backed and Pakistani-backed plan with hijackers from Saudi Arabia and a number of other countries that were not on the ban list, with ideas and technical insight from Bosnians did 9/11. And you want to ban none of those countries.
I think possibly you might be slightly skewed against the Bosnians, but I'm fine with it.
I have nothing against the Bosnians.
Nothing, yeah, because they're not within arm's reach of you.
I have absolutely nothing against the Bosnians. Me and Demir have a fine time drinking Slivovitz, and he's Bosnian.
Excellent, well done. Well, he's Canadian.
No, he was like Bosnian born for like the first 16 years of his life.
Oh, well, fair enough. He's half Bosnian.
Yeah, it took us a while to come to an understanding, but it happened eventually.
Okay, I won't kill you. You won't kill me. We'll get drunk. All right.
Pretty much. All right, let's talk about Evolution for a moment here. We opened up with a bit of a weird opener. You had the Lita and Trish versus Mickie James and Alicia Fox match.
I liked the general match, but it was also made me sad because it's very clear that either Lita is so injured or broken, her body's broken down to the point where she can't get into shape to do things that she should be able to do, which is sad.
Well, frankly, we figured that out at the Women's Royal Rumble.
Yeah, well, but she's in way better shape this time. She's in much, much better shape than she was before. But it's still to the point where she's either out of shape because it's a long road back. Certainly. If this is like one more stepping stone, because it was about 6 months before, 9 months before when the Royal Rumble, or so, maybe 10 months. Yeah, about 10 months. So, but she was not great shape at all for the Women's Royal Rumble. And had a lot of extra clothing on to disguise the fact. And in this, she was in much, much better shape, but it's still very clear that she physically can't go in the ring anymore. So I don't know if it's a lack of discipline or like depression and all that kind of stuff can lead to all kinds of like weight gain and whatnot. And some people don't deal well with retirement. So if that's the case, she's getting in better shape, and I'd like to see that continue. But if it's the fact that she's so injured she just can't fucking go anymore, this is an okay swan song. Just please don't get back in the ring, but I'd love to be proven wrong.
Yeah, it is kind of that sad thing of you're watching someone who clearly either right now cannot go or cannot go anymore, and it's like you don't want to shit on the performance because it's someone who's giving you a lot of entertainment over the years, but
absolutely
you don't feel good watching it.
Other than that, it was great.
Trish can absolutely still go. I will say that much.
Oh yeah, but she's always has been and always will be a fitness person. And Lita, I don't think ever was. I don't want to say she was never disciplined. I don't think she ever had to really commit to being that disciplined because she's just that fucking good. So this was kind of a hard work outshines talent when talent doesn't work hard. I'm hoping that's just the case. I really hope that Lita's not that injured. Or like physically, broken down from her career. But Lita got almost the biggest pop of the night. I would say.
Pretty damn close. Top 3 for sure.
Yeah. So I enjoyed the whole match. I was sad when Lita wasn't. Like, they did the Whisper in the Wind, and it wasn't anywhere close to being good. But people got their finishes in, and it was. I enjoyed the idea of the match.
And the Legends went over, which
it's fine.
I'm mixed on, but it's fine.
Well, I mean, here's my deal. I wouldn't have had Mickie James on the other team. I would have made this a 6-woman match, a 6-entity tag match, with Mickie James being on the side of the Legends, because you get more people in the ring.
It wouldn't work with her current storyline, but yeah, I mean, that would be the better idea, and she can absolutely work. So her and Trish, that exposes Lita less, and you can do more things with the match. But yeah, I don't know. That would also mean this match has to be longer, and we're going to talk about match lengths later on. Is somewhat of a problem with this pay-per-view.
Yeah, there were some that I would not have had been, but I mean, I didn't really have an issue with anything except the main event. Really, I think this was.
It's not so much that things went long, it's that things ended up being too short. Like, I'm specifically thinking of Toni Storm versus Io Shirai, which was like a 10-minute match for your Mae Young Classic final, which was very good, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But, add a little more time to that, and so adding more time here would be somewhat of a problem, and that's kind of what I'm getting at, is that, you only have so much time to go around. And you have a battle royal in the middle here, which, we got to go through. A nice plot for Molly Holly was my first note of this whole thing. She got a big hero's welcome. Very nice. The Iconics got eliminated, pretty much right away because
instantaneously.
They got some time. Yeah.
The Iconics are the worst ripoff of SCU I've ever seen.
Pretty much. We also... not going to really break down a tremendous amount of spots here with this match, because I mean it's a battle royal. The
only spot I want to address is my girl Lana kind of fucked up.
Yeah,
because definitely. There was a face-to-face between Nia Jax and Tamina, and Lana was supposed to go in there and do the Jamie Noble. I'm gonna just stop. You get in the middle of two behemoth type scenarios. But it was very clear that they were supposed to do that 2 times. They were going to they're doing a face-to-face followed by the Roman ooh-ah thing, and then they stomp the shit out of everybody and then go face-to-face again. It was very clear that Lana was only supposed to start getting in the middle in the second one. Because the first one, she was a total kind of, not a total shit show, but it was kind of a shit show.
It was a pretty shit show.
And so she missed her mark on that one. It was not good, but she's not supposed to be a wrestler because WWE doesn't believe in women, so...
Yeah, it's a weird thing with Lana, because sometimes, a lot of people will say Lana is, universally bad as a wrestler,
That's
hot.
Bullshit.
Which is bullshit, because there's been some good moments. They're, legitimately good moments, but they are not very consistent. Which probably has to do with the fact that she's largely ignored as a wrestler, and probably, you don't give someone time to sharpen their skills, and they don't.
Case in point, NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I've enjoyed, up until, that was the only, glaring problem I've ever seen with Lana in the ring. Every time I see Lana in the ring, she's at least as good as anybody else you can point to on the roster. She's better than Alicia Fox, for fuck's sake.
Alicia Fox is a weird one. I feel like the problem with Fox is that she can wrestle.
Can she?
She's given characters that she has to play that make her too much going on. That's what I'm saying.
I think that's her fault, to be honest with you. I think that, her and Naomi, those two, there's too much going on. It's their own fault. They're trying to be so much extra. With all of
I feel like Alicia, though, is being told to be that, though.
I don't know. Well, maybe they all are. I could be wrong. But I think that those two in particular are trying to be so much extra to cover up for the fact that they're just not good at wrestling. And they don't have their own personalities. Their wrestling characters don't have a personality.
Yeah, pretty much. Alicia Fox is the crazy chick, and Naomi is basically the catchphrase machine.
She's supposed
Glow.
to be the go-go dancer that's supposed to be hot, but I mean, the only hot part of her. Listen, this is just my personal opinion. Don't take this the wrong way, but the only time I find Naomi attractive is when she's doing the blacklight stuff, and that's it. Like, it's like, okay, all right, cool, some go-go dancing, hot, awesome, and then she gets on the mic and it's like, where are you? Who are you?
Yeah, well, I will agree on the mic skills. I find her hot pretty much at all times, but not amazingly hot. So
No, that's just like, listen, that's my own personal thing. The fact that she's just kind of okay in the ring doesn't help my opinion.
and it's kind of weird because she definitely has the athletic skills to be very good in the ring, and she's just
Yeah, I mean,
not.
no question. I just don't. I don't. It's
And,
one of those.
and to be honest, I chalked that up though in a large way to how she was brought up. She came through the toughen up or the NXT system before it was the NXT we know it as.
Yeah,
And it's the same, basically the same manufacturing plant that gave us Michelle McCool, Kelly, all that stuff, and they were never taught to wrestle, so there's really no reason to expect them to be able to.
yeah.
Uh,
I was to cap off the whole battle royale thing. I was happy that Nia Jax won because finally, you're finally for the fucking first time in 40 fucking years, you're paying off a monster winning a competition of goddamn wrestling. Like, come on.
Yeah.
How many times
pretty
has The
much,
Undertaker
pretty
won the
much.
Royal Rumble or Kane?
Kane never. The Taker has won. I want to say 2 times.
Between the Big Show, Kane, Undertaker, and or anybody over 6'6", I guarantee you there's less than 4 wins for a Royal Rumble.
I think Taker's got 2, and then Big John Studd.
Okay, fair enough.
Forgot
about him.
Not really anything else coming to mind, but there may be others.
Yeah, there's just not like there's so these people, you people, are huge. They're monsters. Braun Strowman will never win a Royal Rumble.
Well, he won the greatest Royal Rumble.
That doesn't count. That took place in a terrorist nation. But Big Show, I don't think has ever won, nor will he ever win.
He has never won, and at this point, there would be no point in having him win.
I mean, you want to have a kickstart to the last third of his career because you can have a whole third more of his career right now. All you have to do is give him a push because he's big enough, he's in shape enough, he can get the job done, he can be convincing, he's a great character worker, but Braun Strowman will never win the Royal Rumble because it makes too much sense.
Braun may win the Royal Rumble, and the caveat here is that I think Braun Strowman may still be with the company when Vince dies.
That's possibly true. That could change a lot of things, but mark my words, Braun Strowman will never win the Royal Rumble.
I wouldn't disagree. The final 2 was Ember Moon and Nia Jax. She eliminated her. Selena Vega got the Rusev spot, being the third one left at the end. Notable deep run for Ivory. Yay, because Ivory can still go.
Way too many eliminations.
Lunder Blaze cannot. Oh,
yeah. I think that's the first time she's wrestled in I don't know how long. So,
quite possibly. Again, we had to make Michelle McCool look like way more of a fucking badass than she actually is.
Listen, nepotism. Stop. Nobody cared about Michelle McCool before. Nobody cares about Michelle McCool now. Stop trying to put the Mrs. Undertaker over.
Well, the weird
gives a
thing is that even if you want to argue that people cared about Michelle McCool, and there may have been a time during Lay Cool or whatever, her character was a catty, backstabbing bitch. Like, there was nothing badass about her, even if you want to go with a time when she was, like, over. Like, it's just, it doesn't even fit the character you've established for her.
Yeah.
Then we went on to the Mae Young Classic final, which was Toni Storm versus Io Shirai.
Woo boy.
Toni Storm finally got a win in a tournament, which is good. This was a pretty good match, but I mean, again, they gave it 10 minutes, and it needed, well, not that it needed more time, but it certainly deserved more time. I mean, when you're talking about a big part of the women's evolution, it is the Mae Young Classic, so that should have been much more of a crown jewel in this pay-per-view than it actually was.
Yeah, I enjoyed the shit out of this match. It was very good. 10 out of 10. Would watch again.
Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Natty defeated the Riot Squad.
I really like this match.
I like this match. It was quite good. The only thing I'm going to note here is that Sasha Banks and Ruby Riott, for two pretty good wrestlers, do not work well together. And I don't.
I've noticed that
necessarily have a great idea of why.
I've noticed that as a general trend with Sasha Banks, not so much Ruby Riott.
Yeah, this is definitely the first time I've noticed it with Riott, and I have noticed with Banks before that there are some people she doesn't work very well with. There are some people she works very well with.
What was the only good match of Sonya Deville's entire career?
Ruby Riott.
Ruby Riott.
Mm-hmm. There's been a couple tag matches that Sonya Deville's been in, and she is not spoiled.
Oh, that's good.
That's the best I'm giving you.
Yep.
Still not a Sonya Deville fan. Don't think that'll really. Well, it may change. She's not really been wrestling for that long. It could happen.
Listen, if they actually make her into like a Ken Shamrock type scenario, great. That'll probably work out very nice. But they're not going to, because women aren't allowed in the WWE.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was a really good match. You had a double sharpshooter spot, which is always kind of intriguing.
Ridiculous, but I was still okay with it.
Still okay. Still marked out a little bit. This was really, really good. Shayna Baszler, Kairi Sane, NXT Championship match. Kairi Sane was winning the match a little bit handily towards the end after having her arm worked over pretty fiercely by Baszler, which is her gimmick. Mm-hmm. And then Baszler's outside the ring, and this is where Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke interfered with the match to get Zayn back, or to cost Zayn the match. Shayna Baszler is your new champion, and we'll talk about it more when we get to NXT. But there's been a lot. This has been a character change in Baszler that I'm not really enjoying, and it's not that she won dirty or anything like that. It's that her promos have really kind of gone to a place that is delusional heel, and I just don't. I don't need more. I don't need more delusional heel.
She started out being very good and very real, and now she's very produced.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've got this.
She's very blended in the background. Yeah, she's very formulaic.
It's like, hey, we've got the Kevin Dunn formula that we've been running since 1973. So you're just going to read this and insert your own name.
And basically what I mean. Well, we'll talk about it when we get to the promo, because that's probably the best place to talk about it. We've then had Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch, and
oh boy,
if you ignore that the roles should be reversed, and so anyways,
the roles aren't reversed. The roles are what they are. It's just that production doesn't have a fucking clue in the bucketful. Everybody watching it knows what the roles are. The only thing that's wrong with this match, the only thing, is the whole Becky Lynch walking off with the title. That's the only problem. There's no reason for that to happen.
Well, and the commentary. Well, it particularly doesn't make any sense, because this has been done by WWE a couple of times, and other promotions. I don't want to say it's the only one, but it's like you have a no DQ last woman standing match, and I'm going to walk off with the belt. What is the logical justification for that?
Yeah.
With anyone, like the most chicken shit heel in the world can't logically justify that.
No, because if you try and walk off, you're not going to get counted out.
Yeah, there's no count out.
And you're not going to get disqualified because there's no DQ.
There's no DQ.
Like,
like if you're luring them into a trap, okay, fine, but like there was no that's not what was happening here.
And that's what I was waiting for. I was like, oh, this is a ploy. No, this isn't a ploy. This is just
really
dumb.
not a ploy.
This is the shit from 1988. You know how I know? Because I was 8 years old and watched this shit in 1988.
This is we don't really know how to write a last person standing match. We're just going to write it like every other match and hope that the crowd doesn't notice that it makes no sense.
Yeah. I got a hint for you. You call in the NXT crew. Oh wait, they were there that night, weren't they? The NXT crew did this one. Well then, fucking okay, but I guess they didn't have the NXT writers there because the first ever last woman standing match in WWE happened already on NXT, which was one bone of contention I have for this bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
But you get the NXT writers to go, okay, we've done this before. Here's how you do it. Go.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's also again, the problem with the rules I'm talking is not how the fans respond to it, but how the commentary treats it. And then also, I think this is why Becky Lynch walked out, because it's like, well, we got to get some heel heat on Becky somehow. Like, she's the heel. We gotta. I mean, how do we get heel heat on everything else?
I don't know
why I'm doing a Vince McMahon impression, because Vince had nothing to do with this, but
what are you doing? Oh, yeah. But you know how to do this? You know how to make SmackDown the perfect wrestling show? You keep Road Dogg where he is, doing what he's doing, but you reverse, as soon as he says whatever he says, you reverse the motivations, and you're done. You're good. It's done. It's working fine. All right, Becky, you're going to go out here and do it. Cool. All right, well, we're going to, I'm going to do the opposite of what you're saying. I'm going to do exactly what you said to do, but I'm going to motivate myself the other way around, and it's perfect. And
they even of course edited the cutting edge segment where Becky said, "I love myself," and like in reality that got cheers, and they're like, no, we gotta make it booze when we use the footage. It's like, oh my god, you really think we're goldfish? Sadly, a lot of us are goldfish.
Yeah, no, this was, I love the match. The match was really good, except for that one dumbass I'm going to walk off bullshit. Mm-hmm. And, I pretty much, once the match got going, the commentators just got on board with the match. Mm-hmm. It was just, the match was the match.
Which was smart of them.
Yeah, and, after, of course, I'm not watching Raw or SmackDown, but I was a little tempted after this. And I'm glad I didn't, because apparently they put absolutely no women on SmackDown after this pay-per-view. There were none. So I'm not totally surprised, because they didn't do anything to hype any of the matches at all, and it was, by all accounts, a massive success.
This was a publicity stunt, and that's all it was to the higher ups.
Well, there's more to it than that, though, because the NXT crew, like I said, was doing this match, so there's no way the main roster crew is going to do anything to help the NXT crew. There's like this internal war, because Kevin Dunn controls the main roster, how production, the crew, the whole deal. And Triple H's faction controls NXT, and now I believe 205 Live. So there's no way in fucking hell Kevin Dunn is going to give anybody the time of day or any kind of shine in any way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm. Which makes sense if he wants to keep his job, I guess.
But he won't be able to, because if he keeps fucking with... when Vince leaves or dies...
Well, the problem is he keeps doing a bad job. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, at some point, you got to be able to do your job if you want to keep your job. We had some ladders, we had some kendo sticks, we had a lot of chairs. We had Charlotte buried in chairs. That was pretty. I have in my notes here. Throw all your chairs, Rick.
Pretty much. I kind of expected that to be the end. Like, I know that you're gonna have Charlotte Hulk up and bust up through the chairs, but come on, just for once, make that the end.
It would have been cool to have that as the end, but I think the match still ended on a good moment here with the power bomb through the table to get the job done.
I liked the whole thing, but that was my kind of New Japan moment. It's like, come on.
Then we had Nikki Bella versus Ronda Rousey. Um, I have some nice things to say about the match and some bad things. There were parts of this match that were quite good. Nikki can wrestle, contrary to popular belief, and Ronda can wrestle. The problem again is a forced storyline here again, where in the Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch matches that we started with the whole idea that Becky's the heel, and they eventually abandoned that, but they have that. They even had it with Michelle McCool being a badass in the Rumble. And we have it here again where we get to hear about what big stars the Bellas are and how they started the Evolution and so on. And I'm like, they did start the Evolution, but that's not a good thing about them. That's a bad thing.
You know what else started Evolution? Fish.
Yeah.
At one point, we were fish-like creatures. That doesn't mean that we need to really, like, oh, yes, fish. We should all swim for 30 years of our life in celebration of fucking fish.
And the thing here really at the end of the day is that Ronda should have won this match in relatively short order. Not like a complete squash, like give Nikki some moments.
You work the twin magic for like 4 minutes. And then eventually, here's how you book this match. Okay, ready? It's very simple. Ronda Rousey outclasses Nikki Bella for 2 minutes, very convincingly, and getting very arrogant to the point where she's fucking, does a move and goes to a corner and waits and like waves her up like, come on, get up. And then you have her go do another move and go back to a different corner and kind of, put the arms up on the ropes and like, you ain't got nothing. Get up, come on, let's go again. And you do that 3 times. And eventually she backs into the wrong corner. And then one Bella distracts the ref in the ring while the other Bella does something horrible to fucking Ronda Rousey. And then you work the twin magic cheatery for 4 minutes. And then Ronda cleans the clock of the Bella on the outside and then gets in the ring and destroys the Bella on the inside, and that takes another 1 minute and the match is over.
And the thing is that, like, again, Nikki Bella represents, whether WWE wishes to admit it or not, one of the darker periods in women's wrestling. Not the darkest. I want to make that quite clear. There are people who are saying that. I'm like, no. It gets darker.
You didn't live through the fucking Jerry Lawler puppies, Brad Petty match.
Yeah.
That made me stop watching wrestling.
But again, the story of the revolution or evolution, whatever you want to call it, of women's wrestling in WWE was that Nikki Bella presented with the title over a time in history that was so bad that the fans basically fucking revolted. Yep. And that is why, as a symbol of that time period, she should lose this match convincingly to Ronda Rousey.
It should be a symbolic.
Got.
It should be a very symbolic and very public ending of that era. Done.
And
it'll no longer be tolerated.
Not what we got. Although we did get a really cool, like, super small package type deal into an armbar. That was actually a really good finish. I really enjoyed that.
Oh, who was it that did the small package driver sometime in the last month? Did you see anything?
I remember a small package driver in New Japan. Is that what you're talking about?
Could be. I don't remember. You just said small package. I'm like, who did that cool ass move? Probably was Kushida.
No, it wasn't Kushida. It was. It'll come to me. I think it was literally at Power Struggle, which we're going to talk about. So
I don't think it was. No, that wasn't at Power Struggle. It was a couple weeks before Power Struggle. I know that.
Oh well, tell us in the comments, I guess.
Yeah, I don't remember. Somebody did a really wicked small package driver into a pin. It was like, fuck yeah, that's a great move.
Shall we move on to NXT? I mean, we give 2 thumbs up to the Evolution pay-per-view. It was really good.
Yeah, but you shouldn't have had You should not have had Ronda Rousey in the main event. You should listen. I
I'm,
know
I'm
she's
not
got.
actually even opposed to it, but like have it be like the curtain call on the prior,
Yeah,
do what we said to do. Have that as your main event, your statement match to end it all off, which is like
it should have been a giant.
We're done with the old. We're done with the bad memories of women's wrestling, and we're moving forward.
But it's too bad that women aren't allowed in the WWE.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's talk NXT. We're going all the way back to October 24th, and we're going to cover some stuff. We're going to go pretty quickly here and not really break some things down. We opened up the 24th episode with Humberto Fish, Bobby Fish, returning to celebrate with the era getting back to full strength. And then there was a deal with, that they are NXT. They will make short work of the competition.
I'm getting tired of that.
I am getting a little tired of that. It's a little repetitive.
Like, literally every single heel is NXT. It's my NXT. Like, EC3 is I am now. This is my NXT. The Undisputed Era, this is my NXT. Bobby fucking Didero. Bobby Roode was just like, no, this is my NXT now. Joe did it.
It's become a complete catchphrase.
Yeah. Can we stop?
Yeah, I would be down with that. We got EC3 out there, and this basically was to set up EC3 versus Adam Cole, which I'm okay with that part. We had the match. We had a brutal face buster into the apron. That absolutely sucks. EC3 largely dominated the match, but Cole got some heel tactics in, and then ended up rolling up EC3. EC3 rolled him up, and then they beat down EC3, and really hard actually. And we got some "Thank You, Bobby" chants, which was good. Which was good in one way because I love me some Bobby Fish. Those who are unfamiliar with me, I really like back to when Bobby Fish and Eddie Edwards were a no-name tag team in ROH. I was big fans. But I will take one bone of contention with the NXT crowds. This is your main heel faction. Can we not give them the biggest babyface pop? Like, please?
No.
Like, please.
Negative.
It really needs to happen. We had a Mia Yim promo. I have no real comments on the matter other than we're getting a match with her later.
I think the last name Yim is kind of weird.
No, it's pretty common in Asian cultures.
Is it? I'm not familiar at all. It just sounds, to my ear, it sounds strange. I don't know.
The name's not the problem. Like, I knew Mia Yim as Jade in Impact Wrestling, and I just never really saw a big appeal in her.
Sir, I believe it's pronounced Jade.
Jade. So not really feeling the push here, and or the hype. And we'll talk about that more when we get to her and Bianca Belair.
Yeah.
Nikki, one of the storylines going throughout the show is the Aleister Black is coming back, and Nikki is tormenting the security, going, "He's coming, and I know." It was hilarious. I loved it.
She does know some stuff.
She knows some stuff and some things. Then we had the Aaliyah versus Mia Yim match, which was very weird because you have Mia Yim, you're debuting badass to a degree, almost lose to Aaliyah, who is like the female Raul Mendoza.
Yes, she's very bad. Well, no, okay, timeout.
It's not even that she's very bad.
Raul Mendoza is not. Raul Mendoza is
no,
not bad.
I mean the position here is what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
like head jobber material.
Aaliyah is very bad. Very, very bad. And needs at least 4 more years of indie work before she should be signed to NXT.
Mm-hmm. Bianca Belair was berating William Regal, wanting a title shot. This is really just set up Regal addressing the Aleister Black, Nikki stuff. The Era wants a word of the absurdity of things going on here. And he basically tells them to fuck off. Cole and Fish are going to face the War Raiders next week, and that's really all there's to it. We had what else did we have? We had Justin Xavier versus Cassius Ohno, which was a squash match, and I'm fine with that.
Indeed.
And then we had Regal coming out to make an announcement about War Games, and then everybody comes out to state their claim for, a title shot or whatever. Ciampa's out there, Dream's out there, Lars is out there, Aleister Black is out there. He kills everybody, and then Johnny Gargano super kicks him. And it feels like this should have happened a week later, but we're going to talk about that when we talk about Candice LeRae
super kick
moment.
Well, I'm totally fine with it happening twice.
That too.
Mm-hmm.
So we move on to the 31st episode, 1 week afterwards. We had Nikki Cross versus Mercedes Martinez. This was okay, but not amazing.
Correct.
I was hoping for more.
There was a lot more character stuff than wrestling stuff in this match.
Mm-hmm. Aleister Black comes out. We get a weird, vaguely sexual moment between Aleister Black and Nikki Cross. And she tells him... basically, what did she? Oh no! Wait! I'm like a week behind.
Are you on drugs?
Yeah, this is where Candice LeRae came out and had a confrontation with Nikki Cross, and it made no fucking sense because her thing is like, "Why are you trying to ruin Johnny's life?" or blah blah blah. I'm like, this would work if we hadn't already revealed that Johnny Gargano did in fact jump Aleister Black from behind and put him on the shelf.
It feels like this was an editing problem. Like you put the wrong clip on the wrong episode.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't. This was not helped by the fact that she was decked out all goth style. Like, she's still blonde, but I swear to God, she's going to dye her hair black anytime now. Yeah. She's like the extra like raccoon eyes. She's got the black lipstick, which, listen, I'm totally fine with.
He's very down with it.
I'm totally accepting of that lifestyle choice. But this should have been if your husband's gone to the dark side, maybe don't wear the goth shit. And also, you should really be confronting people for innuendos before they're no longer innuendos.
Yeah, it's not innuendos. It's not like you can be like, Nikki Cross is a lying tramp. No, she very much told the truth. And yeah, like your husband confirmed that with the super kick to Aleister Black's face. Like,
super kick, and then fucking said it right out loud on the fucking. He's like, yeah, I'm right here, bitch.
Yeah, like this did not work. Speaking of things that don't work, Street Profits versus the Mighty.
Yeah, I still don't. Listen, they have not got this in order. Nobody gives a shit if you're feuding over a plastic sippy cup. Fuck off.
Yeah, well, and a fake chain.
Yeah, with this foil that we painted gold in the parking lot. Come on, son.
Yes.
It's about respect. It's about respect. No, just no. Respect is not a foil wrapped sippy cup. Just fuck off.
It's really not. No, I'm not digging the feud. That's whatever the case may be. Match was okay, and that's about it. Profits won. They got their property back. Please move on to something else.
Yeah, and please stop portraying the Mighty Don't Kneel as fucking Nazis. God damn it.
That would be a good plan. Then we had William Regal announce that Ciampa's going to take on Dream at TakeOver.
Why, we have no idea.
Black wants Gargano, and he gets it. And Lars Sullivan wants a title shot, and that's yet to be probably resolved.
Lars Suleiman. We're recording this on Tuesday night. I swear to God, tomorrow we're going to find out. Oh yeah, Lars is in this triple threat match.
It's Wednesday night.
So tonight will be more NXT.
Mm-hmm. We had Luke Menzies, a jobber, versus Matt Riddle, the King of Bro. And the one thing, I literally one thing I need here, and that is the announcers need to not splooge over Matt Riddle's striking skills because they were really bad in the UFC.
Yeah, compared to everybody else in the wrestling industry, pretty good. However,
Yeah, but they make him out to be like a striking god. I'm like, you know what? Talk about the wrestling, because his wrestling was really, really good for a guy who didn't go to college. And talk about his grappling, because it was also pretty good. But the striking, it was powerful, but that was about it.
Granted.
Anyways, he got the win here with the Twister, which is, I believe they're calling the Dude Mission. Is that what
The Bro Mission.
Or the Bro Mission. The Bro Mission. And I'm gonna enjoy that, because the Twister is a fucking awesome submission hold.
It is great. It looks very cinematic.
It's born for MMA or for pro wrestling, basically.
Correct. I like the fact that he slaps it on without working for it, like the way that jiu-jitsu guys traditionally do. Like, he's found a way to totally adapt that right into pro wrestling. I like that.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's great. Really excited to have Matt Riddle in NXT and seeing what he can do. And then we had Shayna Baszler and Kairi Sane have a confrontation after Evolution, which was shown here.
I like Sane. Sane was very good, and he's like the zombie ghost of "I'm going to fucking get you." Yeah, let's get the hell out of here.
But this was the beginning of the really delusional heel shit. It's like, I never lost. I proved it. It's like, no, your two buddies jumped her. Like, that's all you proved. You're what? I believe she's 1-2 or 1-3 against Sane, and like this. We'll talk about this more on the next NXT episode, but it's this big thing of like, how many times do I have to beat Kairi Sane to prove that it was a fluke? I don't know, more than once?
More than once would be good.
Yeah, it's a good start. Good start. Then we had the Britt and Bruiser versus Humberto Carrillo and Raul Mendoza.
See.
Mexicans got a little bit more offense than I was expecting in, but this was a pretty good match. And
yeah.
Britt and Bruiser went over.
I don't think that I can't think of any match that either of the Britt and Bruisers have ever had that hasn't been at least good.
I'm sure we can find something, but not
much.
I'm
sure if you dig hard enough, but nothing comes to mind that would stand out enough for me to go, you know what, there was this one time.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of, there's nothing that they do in the ring that either, like, even if there's some awkward moments in a match, eventually you know that they're going to unleash some offense, and the crowd, like, I'm going to go nuts, the crowd's going to go nuts. Even if they don't win, their match against the Undisputed Era was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, and Oni Lorcan's match against fucking Kenta, where he broke his nose and they had to stop the match and then restart it later in the episode. That was one of the greatest things I'd seen on WWE property in 30 years. It's like, I'm going to smash you. I fucking wrecked your goddamn face. Ref says I can't continue kicking your ass. We'll pick this up a little later. And Kenta comes back out later and like, Ma, what a fucking fight! And he's like, all right then, we got this we're going to do this. So that's just one example. I don't see how these guys can't possibly succeed to the fullest, but then again, they've shit all over the Revival.
They are pretty much my favorite tag team in NXT, which means they will be buried on the main roster if they ever get there.
Yeah. I'm just hoping for a heavy machinery war machine kind of quadumvirate. That would be the best thing. All of the machines.
It's kind of weird. There's a lot of talent in the NXT tag team division, but it's just a really, really confusingly booked and handled division.
Yeah. I would like the WWE universe to become kind of an upside down mortgage. It's like, yeah, all of the really greatest stuff is only happening in NXT, and it's like slowly, not slow. I would like it to be instantaneous, like tomorrow. But I would like all of the top best quality, which is most of what's going on in NXT most of the time. I would say 70% of the time, the best match in the WWE universe is always happening in NXT.
On a weekly basis, pretty much always NXT.
Yeah. There's some like really shitty episodes because you're putting the shittiest, greenest goddamn talent out there that doesn't need to be on TV. But there's by and large, like, when was the last time a takeover was in any way, shape, or form even on par with a main roster pay-per-view. It's always the best.
Pretty much. I'm sure we can find an exception. But
War Games from last year.
Well, a lot of people liked War Games. We just didn't.
A lot of people did, yes. I you know what? There's part of me that wants to go back and watch that again, and there's a larger part of me that says no.
The larger part is winning for me right now. Speaking of War Games, with the Undisputed Era cutting a promo, War Raiders jump in, big battle, Ricochet jumping off of shit, Pete Dunne shows up with a chair, and William Regal declares War Games.
Rawr.
So, I'm a little disappointed I got robbed of a War Raiders versus Bobby Fish Adam Cole match, though, to be honest, off of this.
Bobby Cole, baby.
Bobby Cole, baby. Adam Fish, baby. But yeah, I mean, we all knew this was going to War Games, and it did. And NXT on the November the 7th, the most recent episode prior to tonight, Heavy Machinery versus Forgotten Sons. This was a very weird booking choice, I must say. And my reason for this is, we talked about this when Otis Dozovic had a strong showing against Ciampa. That, okay, to make that work, you need to give, like, Otis and, by extension, Tucker Knight a big, a bit of a push. Because at the time, they were kind of languishing. They'd lost to the Mighty a couple times and stuff. And were really without any steam. And you put them in there with the Forgotten Sons, which is a team you're trying to build. And it's like, man, you kind of needed a team that the Heavy Machinery could just absolutely smash the fuck out of.
Mm-hmm.
What we got was a pretty solid match, though, and the Heavy Machinery did go over. But it's a bit weird because you just kind of knocked off the undefeated streak of Forgotten Sons like over kind of nothing.
Yeah, I don't know. They it's part of the problem with NXT is the problem with lack of depth, because you get Heavy Machinery, who have been either the hottest or second hottest tag team in NXT for 2 years?
Yeah, something like that.
And you keep burying them against up and comers that you then also bury against other people. So what the fuck? And then you've got this new and up and coming faction. It's a 3-man faction against a 2-man tag team. And then you not really bury in this case, but essentially you're burying your brand new shiniest 3-man faction against a tag team that you buried against people that you've already, like, they're 3 levels of buried by now.
Yeah.
So what the fuck?
Well, like I said, you just had Heavy Machinery do the job basically to the Mighty, who technically have beaten Street Profits twice, but have now done the job to the Street Profits, and it's, like, so what kind of ass end backwards does that mean the Forgotten Sons are at this point?
What kind of backwards fucking pageantry was that?
Pretty much. We had a Candice LeRae promo. She wants answers from Nikki Cross. I have written here, this feud makes 0 sense.
Correct, but I'm still willing to watch all of it.
Oh, you know what? We've been complaining about Candice not getting an opponent that she can have a great match with, and to a certain degree, Nikki. We're going to get that. So I'm happy the feud is happening. It's just, what writer wrote this, and don't let him write anything for a while.
It was Road Dogg.
It probably was Road Dogg. We have the Shayna Baszler promo. We kind of already have talked about this. The how many times do I have to beat Kairi Sane? Blah, blah, blah.
Once would be at least a good start.
Yeah, and Regal tells her at War Games they're going 2 out of 3 falls. Sane's getting a shot at the title. Okay, that'll be a good match. I'm happy about the destination. Not thrilled at the pathway, I guess.
Yeah.
Kind of like the LeRae versus Cross feud as well, actually. We had Dakota Kai versus Tainara Conti. I had all kinds of problems with this match. Do you want to rip this match a new one before I do, or?
Fuck. Like, I don't think I'm going to say anything different than what you're going to say, but I'm just going to say, Tainara Conti. I believe it's Conchi because it's a T and nobody knows anymore because Italian.
Well, she's Brazilian though, so.
Yeah, well,
I don't know if that changes how the pronunciation works.
Listen, so is Adolf fucking Schlierkamp, who was raised in the highlands of fucking the Andes. However, I believe probably originally from Germany. Maybe his parents escaped in 1946.
Maybe.
Anyway, Tainara doesn't get enough screen time. I think she's more competent than anything else. Way more competent than a lot of the fucking bougie hoes that they're hyping up. Not to put too fine a fucking point on it, but she also needs more experience. I think Tainara Kanchi probably has a bigger upside than anybody else that they're trying to really push.
They really emphasize her judo background, which I don't believe is entirely legit, but I have some comments to make about that as far as the match is concerned as well.
Fair enough. I never even bothered to look her up, so I mean, maybe she's the second coming of your boy, your girl. What's her nut with the title?
Ronda Rousey.
Maybe that's possibly.
She technically would be the third coming of Ronda Rousey because Kayla Harrison's basically the second coming of Ronda Rousey.
I don't know who that is, but okay.
She's dating Tony Martin. Will probably be in the UFC in the near future, and basically has the Ronda Rousey blonde hot chick who will break your arm deal.
Wait, Tony Martin that got knocked the fuck out?
No, Tony Martin got a knockout in his last fight.
Maybe is there two Tony Martins? There might be two Tony
I
Martins.
think there's only one.
I might be thinking of somebody else.
Tony Martin's last fight was a knockout win over...
I'm thinking of somebody probably from 5 or 6 years ago.
Fuck. It is the dude who lost horribly to Demian Maia, which doesn't really narrow it down, I know.
Yeah.
Why
the guy that got fucking ripped apart by Damian Maia.
He trains at a Belmore Kickboxing Academy. I could list off so much about him. I can't remember his name.
And now you know how I feel. My brain sucks at names.
I'm finding this out. Continue your talk.
Carry on. I don't... Actually, you know what? I don't remember specifically anything about this match other than the fact that Dakota Kai pointlessly sold some sort of arm injury while she was kicking. And none of that makes any sense. Come on.
Well,
we all have bodies.
My problem was that you would randomly stop selling the arm, and it's like either the arm is injured or the arm is not injured. I mean, these are your two choices.
Yeah, that's fair. But, I mean, we all have physical bodies here. If you're listening to this podcast, you probably have a physical body. If you throw a kick, does your arm hurt? Probably not a lot.
If it's hurting already, I guess it is hurting. But
yeah. Okay,
it's not
listen.
Excruciating.
If your ulna is shattered and you throw a kick, oh yeah, that shit's gonna hurt. But in a pro wrestling context, come on.
Yeah, it was really, really bizarre. By the way, the answer to the question was Ryan fucking LaFleur. There you go.
Ryan LaFleur.
Who I picked to beat Tony Martin, and he got his ass knocked out by Tony Martin, who's never knocked anyone out. I seriously question how good Ryan LaFleur is now. Anyways, my problem with this match, in addition to what you said, is that you're hyping up. And they have a similar problem with Antoine Joud's brother, who I can't remember his actual name, so go figure on that one.
Other Joao,
and also Cesar Bononi. Where it's like we're gonna emphasize this martial arts background that they may or may not have. In the case of Zhao, he actually does have it. And then we're going to make the match make it look like that's not remotely the case. And it kind of happened here because you had Dakota Kai doing like leg sweeps and hip tosses to the judo black belt.
Yeah.
So bad. That being said, I do actually like Tainara Kanchi. I saw her in the Mae Young Classic and actually really enjoyed her match, considering how green she is.
I think to watch NXT fucking tournaments.
And I think that there's some great promise to her, but I don't understand really anything about this match. Truthfully, nothing. Because one, I think that from a perception point of view, Kanchi is way below where Dakota Kai is in the pecking order. So why are we having this match? B, why is Dakota Kai selling an arm super hard and then not selling it at all, and then throwing a kick and then selling the arm, and also why is she hip tossing the judo black belt? I don't understand.
Yeah,
nothing about this makes sense.
Sweep the leg. You're a kick chick. Sweep the fucking leg.
Yeah,
Throw some goddamn leg kicks. Slow the goddamn judo person down. Take away her base.
Pretty much. Then we had a Mia Yim interview, which was basically to set up Bianca Belair versus her, and this was a terrible promo.
Fuck. I wanted to... Listen, I do not advocate violence against really anyone. And, you know, by extension, women. Because I know that that's a bad thing, because I'm a human being with conscience and morals. But I wanted to beat the shit out of this fucking chick.
I am not a human being with conscience and morals, and I will beat the shit out of this chick. And also to stress my own personal reaction to this, I have a real fucking issue about eating sounds. And she was snapping. He fucking does.
Oh, I wanted to fucking murder.
If I wanted to drive him off the deep end, there is a pack of Dentine Ice gum on my desk.
Oh my god. Which, listen, if Jack Brody's out there and ever listens to this podcast, this is a fucking miracle that you and I are still friends.
It truly is. I'm stunned. It puzzles me to no end.
That guy does nothing like, oh, we're going to play video games? Let me go grab a giant bag of chips. So, your girl was basically, A, I don't buy her character at all. B, she's like total delusional heel, which is garbage. B, she uses a fucking giant paint roller to put rhino liner and spangle on her face in an egregious level. And I don't agree with that either. C, the fake hair is fake. Please stop. It's not a good gimmick since you rarely use it in matches anymore. And D, the eating the fucking gum sounds in your interview while you're being an arrogant, delusional heel with the fake hair and like everything else I just listed was fucking trash. And I really wanted to do harm in a physical level, not even to a character, like to a person. Like, you gave into this, you did this, you committed to performing this bullshit sacrilege of a fucking promo.
Mind you, the weird thing is I found Mia Yim to actually be worse.
Honestly, you're probably right. But it was so overshadowed by the trash monster.
She came out, like, again, this kind of goes back to her debut when she had, the bizarrely competitive match with Aaliyah and, like, almost lost. It's like, this is your badass, and you have her being, like, super flustered when Bianca Belair walks up on her. Like yeah. I don't know what your problem is with me. I'm like, woman, why are you terrified? God damn it.
Pretty much. It's like, I'm going to be arrogant. Cool, I'm going to punch you in the mouth. Then we got a feud.
Like, that would have been 10 times better.
I'm going to come up snapping my fucking gum and twirling my fake-ass yak head. And I got punched in the fucking teeth. Why, oh why?
That would make more sense. Yeah, this is I don't know, maybe this will be an okay match, but like, and also again,
I don't see how.
Again, on like the hierarchy level here, like, how the hell does winning over Aaliyah equals second match in the company basically being Bianca Belair, who we don't like, but like from positioning standpoint is like your number 3 girl. Like, what the hell is this?
No, none of that makes any sense whatsoever. Especially because they barely give Candice any screen time whatsoever, except if it's directly involving Johnny.
Candice is below Bianca Belair. Let's be real.
Yeah, because they're that dumb.
Like, it's Baszler, Sane, Cross, and then Belair. So okay, number 4 girl in the company. Like, number 5 is probably Lacey. Oh god, it's not even. It's getting worse.
Yeah.
Then we had Cassius Ohno meeting Keith Lee and the Bro backstage. Says,
Bro,
it's welcome to NXT. I like shiny toys. They're fun to break. So Cassius Ohno in a feud with these two. I am down with this. 100%.
I'm totally down, especially if he gets
100.
a special mystery partner that may or may not be Swiss.
There was someone else I was thinking of. I mean, he's in Impact, so it would be hard to do. But
I was gonna say, is he Puerto Rican?
I mean, if he could have, an ace up his slave that's actually a king. I mean, that'd be a thing.
Joke's on you, it's Ruckus.
Hey, I'd be down with Ruckus.
Yeah, boy.
I love me some Ruckus. He was a super... For a guy whose career was basically made off of a video game, he's fucking awesome. Gargano cut a great promo about not being afraid of the dark. I'm a little let down that they haven't gone with something more than Aleister Black was collateral damage. Because, I mean, we're talking about a brutal attack from behind and stuff. Like, it feels like there should be more of a motive. But we'll get a great match.
I think that the extra motive is implied. Like, listen, honestly, dude, if the extra motive isn't very apparent to you right now, I can't help you.
But just, I don't know, I would have gone with non-implication, more statement.
Dude, they've had how many matches has Gargamel had against your boy, the Tomato Chompers? Where he's gone off the fucking rails?
Yeah.
If you don't get what the extra implication of the motive is, I can't help you.
I know. Just saying. Then we had Velveteen Dream versus Lars Suleiman. It's a pretty good match. Dream got Lars Sullivan up for a Dream Valley Driver, which is pretty fucking impressive, actually.
Yeah, I enjoyed that physical feat of strength.
Ciampa distracts him, gets taken out, and then Lars hits the free exit for 3. I don't like Ciampa interfering in this match, actually, ironically. Like, I get the simple idea of, like, this gives... it gives Dream a way out, because he didn't lose clean, and you don't have to beat Lars clean, and that's all good. But it's kind of weird that, like, again, from a logical standpoint of, like, Lars wants a title shot. And Lars is a very big, very angry man. If I'm Ciampa, why do I want Dream to lose and possibly end up with a triple threat?
Well, the deal of it is that Ciampa's character isn't Machiavellian. He is the opportunist that everybody thought Randy Orton should be, and has never been for his entire career. So Ciampa's character is very opportunist. So what he sees short term is, I'm just going to get the Dream fucked up, and then he won't be able to fuck with me when we get to War Games because he's going to be that fucked up. What Ciampa's character does not see is that your boy Sunshine himself is going to make this a triple threat.
Sunshine, what you don't understand is that you're facing Lars Sullivan at War Games now.
Correct. Like, that's what I saw in it. Ciampa does not see that third step ahead. He might see 2 steps ahead, but he doesn't see 3 steps ahead.
I think if this felt like a more unique scenario, I would be down with it. It's just that, like, that kind of is like WWE and to a certain degree NXT's kind of like go-to of, like, we're going to interfere in the match and hope that it makes it better for us when it's really actually going to make it worse.
Yeah, no, you're totally right about that. But it's sort of, for me, personally, I think they played this perfectly because that's what the character is. The character sees a way out and goes for it. So, hey, I got a match against a guy. Let's fucking have him crippled by a giant monster. Easy done. I kind of fucked myself on this one.
And then we had a post-match brawl, which the Dream came out on top on. He hit a DDT on the belt. Nice twisting DDT, actually. A lot of what Dream does is very, very pretty. He just kind of has to work on some of the softer connecting skills in his game, and he's going to be freaking amazing.
Yeah, listen, I really hope that they keep him in NXT for another, I don't want to say 3 years, but I also kind of think it's going to take 3 years for him to be that guy. Like, if you want a guy to show up on the main roster as a top-level main roster guy, it's going to take that amount of time.
I wouldn't dispute that. I could see 2 years maybe being
hey,
potentially
if he's the
possible.
if he's the prodigy everybody else seems to be enthralled with, that they think he is, you're probably not wrong. But I don't see it's going to take 3 years.
Anyways, yeah, the refs eventually break it up, and Dream stands tall. we will probably end up with a triple threat with Lars, because you just gave Lars a win over the number one contender, and that's kind of it. And let's Lucha Underground this up, and we've got episodes 20, 21, and 22 to go over. Let's roll, because this is the best part of the show. Episode 20 was basically one giant match. It was the 7 to Survive match. Dante Fox, King Cuerno, Aerostar, Jake Strong, Big Bad Steve, PJ Black. Who am I missing?
Hernandez.
The first one eliminated, yes.
Sir, I believe it's Big Bad Steve with Famous B.
Indeed, with Famous B. And Dante Fox was the early hero of the match and the victim of this match, because, my God, he dove off of so much shit only to not get caught. Oh my God. So, how he is not concussed badly, I don't understand. I do not get it. He eliminated her. I'll go quickly over the order of elimination. Fox eliminated Hernandez. PJ Black stopped Big Bad Steve, who was going on with a massive, wailing range with the wrench, which was pretty good. A literal monkey wrench.
Don't wanna be your monkey wrench.
And Strong broke basically Big Egg Steve's ankle again. Go figure. Then we had...
He's started expanding his repertoire to other joints.
Or pardon me. My notes are written here a bit weird. PJ Black hit a low blow on Steve and then got his ankle broken by Jake Strong and got eliminated.
You'll have to excuse Mike. He's been hitting the methamphetamines really hard.
True. Matt Stryker did have probably his worst gaffe on commentary in a while, though, when he was talking about... He's like, Big Bad Steve versus King Cuerno is like a heavyweight versus a welterweight. I'm like, no, just in no way is that the case. This is not remotely the case. What the hell?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure your boy Cuerno weighs minimum 230.
Yeah, Cuerno is, if not a heavyweight, at the very least a cruiser / light heavyweight. Yeah. That's not remotely the case. And Big Bad Steve...
Let me see here. It says on Wikipedia 198. I think that's wrong.
I think they've stated him being heavier than that. So,
aka King Cuerno, aka El Hijo del Fantasma.
See. Drago got involved in the match, bringing a forklift for Aerostar to jump off of.
Spot of match.
Which was spot of the match, but has nothing on Angelico. And I was referencing Angelico throughout this entire marathon of watching this, basically.
Well, you know what that would make that the ultimate? Is you do that spot exactly as it is, and your boy Aerostar is prepping to dive off the fucking flat platform, and then Aerostar literally leaves from somewhere else and lands right next to them, and then they do like a 2-man fucking senton.
Anyways, this is how Big Bad Steve got eliminated. The Savage breaks Aerostar's ankle. He didn't break it. He went for the break, but King Cuerno randomly saves him from getting his ankle broke, which actually makes sense when we talk about. It seems like there's some kind of relationship between Aerostar and Cuerno via the final scenes of the season.
See.
So that makes sense in hindsight. Dante Fox then pulls an Angelico by diving off the top of the stands again onto Cuerno and Savage, who did not catch him again.
Jesus Christ. It's a real... Listen, I'm going to just... A minor rant that I've noticed in the last, over the course of the last 5 or 6 years, probably, is there's a real issue with dives where, in as much as if it's not like a one-on-one match, guaranteed if it's a tag match, you're also killing your own partner for no fucking reason whatsoever, because I'm pretty sure 2 guys can catch 1 guy. So you put them together, and then you move out of the way and let them both eat shit. Or if it's like a 6-man tag...
I'm not convinced 2 guys... Based on this match, I'm not convinced 2 guys can catch a guy.
I mean, other than basic capability, you're not wrong. But there's... There's a real, like, it doesn't make sense storyline for a 6-man tag, and all 5 of the guys that aren't the one dude doing the dive are outside the ring, and then,
Oh yeah, you
out of the
you
5
kill your own
guys, 2
partners.
of them are your tag partners, and you squash your own tag partners. That's fucking stupid. Just fucking don't. And A, and B, try and, be a professional and get your body in the way of a goddamn guy do a goddamn dive, you fucking goddamn morons.
Also, continuing on the Dante Fox hit list here, he did like this flipping dive and wound up going straight into Jack Swagger's knee.
Yeah.
That I assume was an intentional spot, unlike the other ones. There was some double teaming by Fox and Cuerno on Strong, but then randomly Fox eliminated Cuerno with the Fox catcher. So that didn't really fit the storyline of the general match, where like Strong was the biggest threat, and we kind of have to work together to get rid of him.
Yeah.
And as a result, he won by breaking Fox's ankle. Although,
yeah, and Fox's character is supposed to be this army, special forces, very intelligent, and you eliminate the guy who's not the biggest threat.
Yeah, the guy who's helping you at the final 3. Like, that's it's not great. And it's the Hunter, so it's like Cuerno shouldn't even be doing that. Mundo is training on the roof after the match, and this is where Aerostar comes in to offer him help. And he's like, I don't need your help, And then Drago brings out the gauntlet, and they put it on Mundo, and he's like punching the air and having a really good time. And Drago is like, are you sure we haven't made a terrible mistake? And Johnny's in the background like a little kid just punching the air. And I would have paid big money for Aerostar to go with probably. Then we go on to episode 21. We open up in Captain Vasquez's office. Aerostar shows up, tells a story about a little girl that he helped with an immortal amulet, which is clearly her. He gets her to give up her half of the medallion, and she dies and goes to heaven, I guess.
Lol.
Apparently, her daughter and father are waiting beyond the cosmos, per Aerostar's words. So, I'm going to go with heaven. And since there was generally a theory that her daughter might actually be Katrina. Katrina's in heaven? Oh, boy.
Wait, no, time out. Katrina's the daughter of Vasquez?
That was one of the theories, non-confirmed.
I don't think that's even close to being confirmed. That doesn't seem right at all.
Well, the other thing is, like, who else is her daughter? Like, it seemed like it's a weird thing to throw into the promo.
Yes, like, why is even a daughter... I'm just assuming that Vasquez is, way older than she seems, just like Katrina, and I don't think there's any connection whatsoever.
Well, Vasquez is the little girl in some of Aerostar's flashbacks, so she's been around since, like Aztec time.
Yeah, fair enough. But okay, so Vasquez grows up, has a husband and a kid, and then she outlives them. That's the end of the story.
Yeah.
Tragic, not cool, emotionally damaging.
But like, it feels like something that should have been referenced beforehand in the storyline if it wasn't like some other immortal character or something. Like someone that we've met in a nutshell. So, like, it's either Katrina is her daughter, or we never met the daughter, and the daughter was just thrown in there for shits and giggles. Like,
joke's on you, it's Pimpinella.
I'm fine with this.
Me too.
We have a 3-way trios match with the rabbits versus the sex feeds versus the reptiles.
Yeah, what are we gonna call that team? Like, God damn it! What was that song from the '90s?
I mean, it was Team Ass when Joey Ryan was in there.
I could, let's just call it Team Sexual Healing.
Team Sexual Healing. I'm good with this. Killer Cross gets to show off early, kicking some fucking ass, and then eats all of the super kicks and pump kicks you could imagine.
Correct. Also, I'd like to straight for the record, I know Sexual Healing's from the 70s. Calm the fuck down. I couldn't remember the other one from the 90s. Just everybody comment land. Fuck you.
This is a 9-man trios match, so of course things break down into a fucking brawl and chaos, which I'm fine with. We had a Spanish fly off of the camera perch by Sammy on Cobra. Oh god. Spot of the season. right there.
Yeah.
Ow. Jesus Christ. Dante Fox feels pity for that.
Pitiful.
The Rabbits get eliminated when Paul London trips over El Bunny and Sammy Guevara pins him with a Rana. And this leads to Cross just basically raping Sammy's tonsils for revenge.
Giggity.
And he's out of the match, so it's a 3-on-2 from that point onwards. Exolicious eventually gets tapped out by Daga, and the Reptiles return their titles, which seems honestly like kind of like just a lame way to go, because like, is it just me or do the Reptiles just have nothing going for them right now?
Yeah, I mean, they were the business before Big Bad Steve left, and then Luchasaurus left, and then, yeah, they were a thing, and now they're a collection of just wrestlers that have no extra gimmick at all.
Well, Jeremiah Crane is slowly turning into a zombie, which is the weird thing, because I kind of expected that to go the other way around, where he would be a zombie, become less of a zombie. But now it's like he's becoming more of a zombie the longer he's alive. This is confusing.
Daga hasn't changed at all, except
No.
that maybe he's on the meth more heavily than usual.
I think he's on the meth, yeah.
Jeremiah Crane, honestly, I expected him to start off as being a more cold-blooded type scenario than usual, and then slowly devolving to the point where he just never takes the mask off, and then he's just this instinctive killing machine, and none of that's happening, so I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't really know what they're trying to do with him, to be honest.
It would be awesome if there was some sort of weird love triangle going on here for, the males trying to compete to mate with the female type scenario. This instinctive kind of primordial thing going on. There's none of that's happening. It's just sort of it's a WWE painted on gimmick kind of a deal.
Pretty much, well, with female wrestling.
Women aren't allowed in WWE.
Then we had Ricky Mundo versus Taya. Taya won this relatively short order. She had some problems early, but came through.
Was good with it.
Won with a curb stomp and a crossface, and then choke slammed him through a table and stole his doll. So,
indeed,
hell hath no fury like a Taya scorned.
Don't take the doll, bro.
Yeah. Then we had Mask versus Mask, Son of Havoc versus Killshot. This was pretty fucking good.
Yep.
This was the highlight of the episode. They worked the stretcher from Dante Fox and Killshot's match into the match, which was cool. And eventually Havoc pinned him, and he unmasked, revealing himself to be Lieutenant Jermaine Strickland, who was guilty of leaving his brothers for dead.
It's Germ Shane Strickland.
Indeed. He then left the arena, and Captain Fox, who is not selling the damaged leg from Jake Strong at all, dismisses him and relieves him of duty. So
correct. I was good with that.
I was good with that. Other than like either reverse this with the 7 to Survive match, and then Fox has his leg fucked up, or like sell the leg. I don't know. A bit weird. Or have Fox get eliminated some other way in the match, like have Cuerno eliminate him or something, so he doesn't get his leg broke. There you go. Tons of ways out of this. We move on to the finale, possibly of the series, but definitely of the season. Because we still haven't heard word on season 5 yet. Or have you heard anything?
Not a goddamn thing.
So we open up with Mundo and Ty in the locker room. Mundo says he's not taking the gauntlet off, and he is loving it. He's like, I love you even if I get sacrificed to the gods tonight. So he leaves. The doll loves Taya too, and then proceeds to possess her, basically. So the doll getting creepier. We had Dragon Azteca Jr. versus Phoenix in a 2 out of 3 falls match. The first 2 falls were pretty quick in this match, considering the import of the storyline, to be honest. But quality work. Phoenix is amazing at all times, and if you give Azteca someone good to work with, he's generally pretty fucking good as well. And particularly, there was a Rana off of a platform through a table, which was really fucking good. And I agree with the crowd on that matter. Is holy shit. Antonio Cueto came out to make it falls count anywhere, which, I don't know, seemed like a weak stipulation to throw in at this point.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to weird stipulations, especially when it comes to Lucha Underground. I'm good with anybody coming out like Dario Cueto or anybody else coming out and go, hey, by the way, here's the thing.
I have a minor gripe, but I can also rationalize it. Phoenix kicked out of like a top rope sunset bomb through a table.
Oh, yeah.
Which normally I would have a problem with, but Phoenix is, after all, a fucking zombie.
Yep.
But at the same time, he got pinned kind of early, like earlier in the match. He got pinned kind of easily, so continuity problems. Melissa Santos is trying to convince Dragon not to kill Phoenix with a chair, and this costs him the match. Because he spears Dragon, he hits Dragon with the chair, spears him through a table, and hits the Blackbird driver for the final fall.
Dun dun dun.
And this marks the end of Melissa Santos for the night because Antonio Cueto announces the new ring announcer, Shaul Guerrero.
See?
You were not big on Shaul Guerrero.
Well, I mean, we're slightly biased to begin with, so...
But we did get Famous B claiming he didn't know who the Guerrero family was. So
correct.
There was that.
That's some good heel work.
It has some good heel work, although slightly unbelievable. Chavo Guerrero comes out. Shaul ends up hitting 3 amigos on Famous B. And goodbye, Mr. B. And Shaul is going to be our ring announcer for the Mac versus Mil Muertes death match. This was... in some ways a match after my own heart because there was like a ton of axes potentially involved in it. There was a coffin full of axes and hacksaws. It was an interesting touch.
And if you could figure out a way to make an axe saw, Mike will be your friend forever.
Pretty much. I would be in favor of that. This match was pretty good death match, and the Mac went over Mil Muertes, so yeah, I don't really know where this leads, because of course we don't know if there's a season 5.
I'm afraid you, Mew.
Hey, Freddie, Mil.
What I have, Ringside News? Made an article a couple of days ago, about a week ago, said that Lucha Underground might be canceled before season 5 due to El Rey Network changes. So perhaps some pencil pusher up at the office doesn't get it and will just can't, which seems totally illogical to me. Like, how could a Mexican person or a person of Mexican descent not understand the importance of wrestling in Mexico?
Admittedly, they are losing money on the Lucha Underground thing.
Are they?
I've heard of a number of different reasons for it. It's number one, El Rey is not terribly popular with advertisers because it's very poorly placed, apparently, in most cable packages. It's up with, like, the Spanish channels. So if you don't speak Spanish, like, I've heard stories of, like, people going, oh, I can't watch it because I don't have El Rey. And then their friend or whatever tells them, oh, it's this channel. And they're like, oh, I do get El Rey. I just didn't know I got El Rey because it's up in the Spanish channels and I don't speak Spanish.
The other part of this article said Netflix decided not to order season 3 to their streaming service due to poor viewership numbers of the first 2 seasons.
Yeah, so they're definitely having a viewership problem. Like, I get why this would be canceled. It's apparently it is a money loser. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah, the final paragraph says, if I were a betting man, I'd wager Lucha Underground isn't going anywhere just based on the fact that El Rey wants to double the amount of content on the channel, but you never know what can happen. You're talking about pro wrestling shows, so because plenty of those have been canceled before. So this guy's opinion is it may be a bunch of hoopla, but it may be not. So great fucking firm stance on that one.
Yeah. So we're really back to square one on that matter. We had Johnny Mundo versus Matanza. And this was interesting because Antonio Cueto was pissed off about the gauntlet. That was hilarious. Matanza comes out in full headdress for his sacrifice to the gods. Johnny did take the gauntlet off for the match, so it's a little bit lame. But I guess you can't really wrestle with that thing on, so...
Probably not.
I understand
Not legally, sir.
It's why it makes somewhat of a poor prop, though, is that you have this gauntlet, and it's like, but you take it off for the match when you'd really need its power. Okay.
Yeah, well, there would be a thing, like, say if there was some sort of charge-up period, like you could harness the power of the gauntlet for a certain amount of time. So rather than wearing it all the time and beating the shit out of absolute everybody, aka the Swolverine, because I'm pretty sure Cage used it in the ring, didn't he?
He did, but not like permanently. Like he'd take it off and then like he'd put it on and like do a spot with it.
And he'd also do spots that weren't during matches, like he'd come out and like beat somebody up, right?
Correct.
If I remember, yeah. So I mean. But if there was like, hey, it's like an iPod and you have like a docking station, bro. Something like that.
Well, I guess you would be the iPod more in this case.
Yeah, that'd be true. So, you'd charge yourself up with power and then, by the power of Grayskull, go out and beat some ass.
Anyways, we ended up with Matanza throwing Johnny kind of quickly through a roof and like Cueto being like, it's over. Johnny's been sacrificed to the gods. And then Johnny came back, and now he has the gauntlet and knocks Matanza out with it.
Correct.
It was a goofy match, but it's cool. It led to places later on. Aerostar comes up to Johnny. He's like, I want the gauntlet back. It will possess you. It will destroy you. And I didn't think Johnny would give up the glove, but he did.
Aerostar. I think that actually does play into his character somewhat. I don't know why I'm the character guy on this episode, but I think that it does play into his character because I think the Johnny Mundo, Johnny Ace, Johnny Nitro, Johnny Thunder, Johnny whatever, Johnny fucking NWA, Johnny
America, Johnny Impact,
Johnny South Oklahoman 8-man bare knuckle champion.
Johnny Midwestern States Heritage Champion.
Johnny DDT Pro Heavy Metalweight Champion. Esquire. Like, he's arrogant enough to, like, hey, man, this is making you OP. And you're like, and Johnny's character will be like, oh, fuck that. I'm going to do it on my own. Fuck this shit.
Aerostar finishes up. He's like, you are a good man, Johnny Mundo. And Johnny's like, no, I'm not. I'm going to go celebrate.
That's not true at all.
It's not true at all. Not remotely. Then we had Pentagon Dark and Marty the Moth Zero Miedo match in what might actually be the final match of Lucha Underground history. Again, alluding back to our whole, we don't know if there's a season 5 coming.
Correct.
Marty got busted open pretty early on. There was gas. There was various weapons. Pentagon did get the win. Became the longest and spoiler shortest reigning champion in the history of Lucha Underground.
And has anybody? I'm gonna look this up, so don't jump down my neck. But has there anybody been a 2-time champion
in Lucha?
I'm looking.
So.
I'm looking. Number of reigns: Prince Puma 2 times.
Puma, right?
Forgot about him. Whatever happened to that kid?
I think he became some guy named Rick.
That seems bad. That doesn't seem like a good idea at all.
Anyways, Reclusus saves Marty's arm. Vampiro comes out to. It seems like he's gonna rescue Pentagon, and then kicks him in the nuts after giving him the title. They brawl for a bit. A masked person runs in to help Vampiro. Vampiro says, "This is my master." We get a shooting star press off of the upper level of the fucking stands. Jesus. And then, again, spoiler, Jake Strong comes in, cashes in the Gift of the Gods, and breaks Pentagon to get the title.
Yay! Go Jacob.
Then we go into the big old Smashel ending deal with King Cuerno, Dragon Azteca, and Aerostar talking about we need to discuss the gauntlet. Azteca wants to say, "We strike now before the gods became too strong." He gives the gauntlet to Black Lotus, who rips out Matanza's heart and kills him. She gives the glove back, but Dragon gets ambushed by Swagger, who beats him up, breaks his ankle, and takes the glove back. So Swagger has got the gauntlet of the gods. We get possessed Taya saying to Mundo that she's not his wife, beats him up, claims she's a god, so God Taya is a thing. Yay.
Neat.
Then we had the big evil coronation in the limo, where we are revealed that Swagger's in on the whole deal. He's part of the Mexican gods, I guess. And then he tells them that Matanz is dead after getting asked who the blood is. Antonio has a little bit of a reaction to his son dying. And we hear a British accent from the shadows, where the master of this whole thing has been. And he just says...
He's got some bad news for you.
He says, "Does anyone else have any bad news?" Mr. Barrett is here. And then Aerostar has the gauntlet. Or not the gauntlet, the amulet. And he goes to resurrect Dario Cueto. So we have 2 Cuetos once again.
I'm in favor of all of these things. I need there to be a season 5.
All right. I have about 7 minutes left. Do we think we can get through all of Power Struggle? Or
No.
No, we did not. Okay, we'll call it
all
here.
Right. Jump cut. All right, in the next 10 seconds or less, you're going to have a part 2 that you didn't know was coming. Because
the part two you never knew you needed.
But is here now, will occur in T-minus 3, 2, cut.
Move on to the New Japan segment of the show.
I protest.
Why do you protest?
Just for, color, local flavor.
All right, so we watched New Japan Pro Wrestling's Power Struggle was the name of the event, correct?
A Power Struggle.
Power Struggle. We opened up with Taguchi Japan versus Team Legend. Taguchi Japan consisting of ACH, Chris Sabin, Henare, and Taguchi versus Liger, Tiger, Soberano Jr., and Volador Jr. From CHML. We had Chuck Taylor on commentary for the entire event. We got a great line here where Kevin Kelly said, if you're going to really be Don Callis, you're going to have to randomly make up excuses to go see Kenny Omega in the back. To which Chuck Taylor responded, I was a tag team partner with him at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Men of
I expected more finger snaps at that point.
I know. I was very disappointed by that. So we got a rugby theme going on with the Lucha, the Taguchi Japan guys, and fun match, usual stuff. Liger must lose, so Taguchi Japan goes over.
Correct. I enjoyed the brief reverse Taguchi spot into the actual Taguchi spot. That was a thing that I enjoyed.
That was very enjoyable indeed. Then we had the Firing Squad, the Bullet Club OGs with G.O.D. and Robbie Eagles, accompanied by Jado and Ishimori against Kushida and the Great Bash Heels.
See.
And this was pretty fun, with Jado being a heelish manager with the kendo stick and leading us to making various jokes about how they should smuggle weapons in the crutches of Ishimori, who is, air quotes, hurt.
Yeah, we thought it would... I particularly thought it would be really hilarious to have some sort of lead pipe type scenario inside the frame of the crutch, which you could just slide out through the handle or whatever, and then smash. I wasn't involved. I wasn't there. I'm over here. I'm hurt. I didn't do it. I'm crippled.
I only have one leg, temporarily.
Yeah. Also, I would not have known that was Jado if they didn't say so out loud, because he wore the bandana the whole time.
Yeah, he was covered with the bandana and the headgear, and you could just see his eyes.
Not to be racist, but I can't really discern Asian people based on eyeballs. Just putting that out there.
I don't think we can really discern white people based on eyeballs unless we're really close up on them.
Correct.
This was also a very good match. Well, not a very good match. It was very serviceable. Robbie Eagles got to show off his shit with his like sci-fi cowboy gimmick. Space pirate? Are we going with space pirate?
Space pirate. What
Space
you
pirate.
know all about that?
Robbie Eagles. This was fun. And then at the end of the match, Ishimori hit a crutch to the back of Kushida after Kushida had already eaten a kendo stick from Jado, and Gunstun gets the finish, and Ishimori attacks Kushida at the end of the match. They're beating him down, and then Great Bash heels with the chain-assisted save make the save.
Correct.
Then we had Switchblade Jay White and Bad Luck Fale with Gato, the other Bullet Club OGs here, against Vacation Okada and Mr. Beretta.
Can you not say Kazuchika?
I can say Kajushka.
I don't believe you.
I just did. We got a cross-body Pearl Harbor by an enraged Okada. That was a thing. That is how you do a Pearl Harbor for fucking sure.
Surprise, motherfucker!
Surprise, cross-body motherfucker. The beginning of this match was kind of like two separate matches. You had a brawl on the outside between Switchblade and Okada, and I'm told, I don't know, but I'm told Beretta and Fale were having a match in the ring.
Yeah,
because the cameras were not interested.
I enjoyed the dichotomy. Usually, if it's a tag match, then you've got the basic, boring top headliner and not headliner. Like you've got the kind of almost the Finley syndrome, where it's like, well, okay, Finley's there to eat the pin.
Yeah,
and they avoided that scenario. By breaking it up into like two singles matches.
Well, at the end of the day, Fale or Beretta were there to eat the pin, and it was Fale who got pinned by Beretta with a super deep sunset flip. So that was really good. This was good. It was novel. It was a new idea. I like it. Well, probably not new. I mean, this has probably been done before, but it was interesting. It was very good. And then Switchblade Jay White is attacking Okada at the end of the match. Even Gato is trying to hold him back, trying to make him, kind of like, oh, whoa, hey, there's money to be won off of this. Like, this is my money you're touching there.
Tranquilo.
Just tranquilo, you Kiwi bastard. Anyways, we then got not a great promo by Switchblade because the content isn't really good with his actions afterwards. He challenged Okada anywhere, anytime, one-on-one. Okada says, all right, well, how about now? White storms back to the ring, closes the gate, and then beats up some young lions on his way out. And he's like, we'll do it on my time. I'm like, could we not have just cut his bit of the promo out and like had Okada challenge him to a match and then kind of got the same thing? Like, yeah, that seems to me to be, better. And then speaking of David Finlay, we had David Finlay and Hiroshi Tanahashi versus the Golden Lovers.
See, and you know what the weird thing is, because we got to the last hour of this broadcast, and Mike had to go to bed because he's a delicate flower. And is 3 hours behind me. So
ahead.
Let's just say behind because I think it's funnier. But so we got to the last two matches of this card a day later, and I had forgotten that Kenny Omega had already been on the card, and so we're getting to the last match of the night and going, where's Kenny Omega? He's the heavyweight champion of the world. Oh, fuck it, who cares?
Well, he got a win over David Finlay.
Yeah, there you go. It's something I had forgotten had happened.
As if completely alluding to our earlier discussion about why Finlay is there. Finlay is there to eat the pin and let the Golden Lovers go over. Perfectly serviceable match. Nothing special. You wouldn't expect it to be anything special. But it was fun and continues to build up to Omega and Tanahashi's eventual collision, which should be a really, really good match. Because I'd be interested to see if Omega does something other than the standard work the injured body part of the ace that has become the trademark of the last little bit.
Gee.
Then we had Roppongi 3K versus Shingo Takagi and Bushi, and versus El Desperado and Kanemaru, triple threat match for the junior cup, or is it a cup they call it, or is there another name for it?
I don't know what it's the junior tag league title, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's a cup.
This was a pretty damn good match. Shingo was, in my opinion, the star of the match. He destroyed everybody at one point or another.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
We did get a pair of New Japan finishes, I like to call, where you have a finish that really probably should be the end of the match. Just saying. Show kicks out of a last ride backcracker, which that feels like it probably should have been the finish. And then Desperado, ends up kicking out of I don't remember what show hit him with, and then he hit him with a straight jacket pile driver to get the win. It was kind of like the Kenny Omega. We had this discussion a while back with Kenny Omega and the J Driller, where it's like you just kind of did a really big move and then just ended it with the next move, and it was kind of makes that move a little lame.
Yeah, I'm fine with hitting two big moves in a row, but things on the level of like the J Driller, which is the end of the match. Mm-hmm. That's the end. You hit the J Driller. Done. End of story. No need to follow up. Unless you're telling the story of this monumental feud that has then carried over into, I don't know, whatever, and you need to make that statement. I'm going to hit the J Driller and then the winged angel, and not only are you not going to kick out, you're probably not going to get up off the mat for another 3 or 4 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a thing. But in a general sense of the course of actions, you don't need something on that level. Like you could even hit a Rainmaker. You could hit one Rainmaker and then your finisher, and then that's good. Because it's been established over a course of time that one Rainmaker is not going to finish a match. But 3 will, or 4 or 5 will. But a J Driller's a whole other thing. You need to understand your levels. You need to get in touch with your audio engineer.
Jay Briscoe would like to have words about you using his finisher as a setup move.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, you need to talk to your audio engineer and figure out what your base level is, and then maybe figure out where to go from there.
Mm-hmm. And this was a similar situation here, but Roppongi 3K wins the match, which obviously makes a lot of sense. They're kind of really the only junior tag team they have to build around right now, because we were kind of going through this during the match. It's like we have 6 guys out here, and of them, Kanemaru and Shingo are a little bit too old to be the building blocks of a division.
Yeah.
And then even Bushi and Desperado are not that young. So, yeah, I mean, right now in the junior tag ranks, it's really Roppongi 3K, and then it gets kind of thin after that, to be honest.
Well, I mean, what's the next youngest team? Is it the Young Bucks?
Well, they're heavyweights now, but it would be the Young Bucks, yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, you had the Young Bucks, and the Young Bucks are, 7-time junior tag champs?
7 or 8.
8-time?
Yeah, 7 or 8. Can't remember what.
You've had a period of time to maybe groom up some young upstarts that would then, Lucha Underground style, take those titles, and then the Young Bucks are like, fuck. All right, well, moving up to heavyweight.
Well, they kind of had... I mean, it's kind of the problem was they had like an embarrassment of riches at junior tag for a while. Like they had Ricochet's various teams. They had Roppongi Vice. They had Matt Sydal was there for a quick cup of coffee. You had the Young Bucks, of course. And then you had, serviceable teams such as whatever LIJ would put together with Bushi. And then, of course, later on, Suzuki Gun with Kanemaru and Desperado. So it was kind of like, it kind of left no real room for a young, new team to really make their mark. until Roppongi 3K came around.
Yeah.
So that I would say is your problem, I suppose.
Yeah,
of riches.
That's true. But if you had the Young Bucks, you had Roppongi Vice. While that's going on, that's like the tip of your spear. Why not setting down more foundation blocks?
Well, I mean,
there's a lot of young lions.
You also have to remember they kind of lost some people in that. I mean, you kind of lost Ricochet when he signed away. You lost Matt Sydal when he did things and stuff.
Yeah. Well, but you still got Taguchi. You still got Taguchi doing things with factions. You can't tell me you don't have... Okay, Ricochet signed away, but you got anybody else. Anybody else Taguchi wants to co-sign with is instantly in that picture.
Yeah, it's a bit weird that they haven't tried that. Like, they kind of do. Like, they have been tagging with ACH a fair bit, but it feels like they don't see that as, like, a tag team to do things with. Maybe it's ACH's contract situation or whatever.
Well, what about your boy Taguchi and Cheeseburger? Cheeseburger is over as fuck in Japan.
Or Kawada.
Yeah,
like there's a lot of options, and they haven't really gone down that road. And they probably should, because they're like one Roppongi 3K injury away from having a very bland division that's not.
What else have you got? What are you going to throw in there?
Tiger Mask and Liger.
Really? I don't know. I'm not even talking age. Okay, the only reason I'm talking age is because age plus, fitness level.
Mm-hmm.
And fitness level equals weight. So they're not really juniors anymore.
Yeah. Like, Shingo and Bushi's a real awesome team, don't get me wrong, but
why can't you grab the dogs? Grab the dogs from ROH.
Oh, Rhett Titus in Japan. Oh.
In Japan? Rhett Titus?
Rhett Titus does Japan.
Dude, Fantasy Booking Warfare come to life. You ready?
Okay.
Roppongi 4K.
Oh.
All right, do I need to say anything else?
You need to say nothing else, sir.
If you people at home, and I'm assuming you're at home, because if you downloaded this and are listening to this somewhere else, congratulations, you are intuitive and forthcoming and spectacular. However, for those of you listening at home, if you don't understand what throwing Rhett Titus into the Roppongi 3K universe entitles, you need to do a little bit more research and watching and listening and figuring out. Because it's going to be the best thing. So Fantasy Booking Warfare come to Extra More Life. Are you ready?
Okay.
Roppongi 4K, as previously discussed, and the Best Friends.
Best Friends Chucky T and Beretta. Yeah.
Best Roppongi.
That's true. I mean, that doesn't fix the junior situation because Beretta and Chucky are both heavyweights. Which I always found weird. Chucky seems like a really small heavyweight.
But I'm saying you can do a little finagling, because with Best Roppongi comes a Little Willie.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't tell me that Little Willie can't get over in Japan.
Little Willie can absolutely get over in Japan. That's what I'm questionable.
Saying. There's a Taguchi and Little Willie. Oh.
But moving on from the, slightly depressing, I suppose, but not super depressing, we had Goto challenging Taichi for the Never Openweight title. We had, continuing our trend of really good Pearl Harbors, we had a backdrop driver by Pearl Harbor.
Oh my God, I marked out so hard.
Taichi getting in there real early. This was not a great Goto match because this was a Taichi match. It was Taichi beating on him for a really prolonged time. Sorry, I'm adjusting my chair. You might be hearing that. So, slow-paced, kind of match with Tai Chi in control and beating him down. Tai Chi is not great in the ring. Like the act is great, the pants are great, the fake lip syncing, not the fake lip syncing, the fake singing, the lip syncing is awesome.
Yeah.
The complete abuse that Abe takes is just part of the act.
Listen, where the hell is Taguchi on this one? Come on.
Yeah, Taguchi, go liberate Abe already. God damn it, man.
Abe is this generation's, beyond my generation's Virgil.
Oh, God.
I
was going to say she's the next Candice LeRae from Human Tornadoes bit.
See, that's your generation. My generation was Virgil. Because Virgil was, and this is going back.
Here is the age difference, I think, in a nutshell. You know what? You know when the first time I actually saw Virgil wrestle was?
WCW 1999.
He was Vincent tagging with Bryan Adams against Kevin Nash and Lex Luger.
Wow. That's a thing. Back in my day, we had this black feller, and he was an indentured servant to this rich white feller, and he had a sparkle of belt. Mm-hmm. And over the course of a few years, the people got really behind this Virgil guy, and eventually he broke free of the clutches of the evil white master overlord dude, and beat him for his own make-believe fucking belt covered in diamonds and gold. And then he went around and he let all the grubby kids rub all their goddamn hands over this sparkly belt because it was all our belt. And he was going to communitize the shit out of this rich man's belt. And this drove the rich man totally fucking bug shit crazy. And they had the most over baby face in the world, which was the first time I ever saw Vince piss the fuck away all of the money in the world. Holy shit. I don't care how good or bad Virgil was in the ring. You were in the Hulk Hogan era where you could have made money off of my ball sweat.
In fairness, by everything I've heard about Virgil backstage, that might not have been a bad thing to not go to the moon with him.
I'm totally I'm on board with that sentiment based on the OSW guys and all that stuff. But if you wanted all of the money in the world, you had it, and like this, it was gone.
It was gone. It was totally gone.
So I'll have to look it up, but I swear to God, I was like 8 years old and realized all of the money was disappearing.
Yeah, it does always seem like the whole storyline with Virgil should have been worth more than it really was.
If you had anybody even one half the level of Paul Heyman who could accentuate the positives, hide the negatives, you could have had the Black Hulk Hogan.
Hell, even Jim Cornette could have done something with that.
Oh my God, yes. You could have had the Black Hulk Hogan well before The Rock, before Ron Simmons, before, I mean, I don't know who else, like before the failed experiment with Kama, a.k.a. Papa Shango, a.k.a. The Good Father, a.k.a. I believe he had some attractive ladies.
A.k.a. The Hoe Train.
Hoe Train.
Indeed. The irony is like 3 of those hoes wound up winning belts at various points.
Yeah. Dude, you were in the era of guys that couldn't work at all. And they were the top stars in the world. And they failed absolutely. And Randy Savage gets made to look like the bad guy because, Jesus Christ, nothing's fair in life.
Yeah, that's pretty much the case. Anyways, speaking of fair in life, though, Goto got his belt back, winning with the GTR.
Boy!
Yeah, so Goto with the belt once again. By the way,
GTR!
I had a gimmick idea for Shibata mid-match, because of course everyone knows, well, if you're deep into New Japan, everyone knows about the Shibata-Goto relationship and whatever. I just need Shibata to just, like, become Goto's, like, manager, But Goto's like not co-signing that he's his manager.
I need you to explain the relationship one second.
They were classmates, and the deal is that Shibata was really annoyed with Goto's sort of okayness with losing, like losing the big one, not getting a title for like a long ass time. Although he did win a couple of tournaments. Yeah, that's kind of basically the deal. Like one-time friends, now kind of like rivals. Had great matches over the never openweight belt before Shibata headbutted Okada and put himself out of action, possibly for good. So you make him into like the reluctant manager. Well, not the reluctant. He's like really into it. He just shows up and randomly yells at Goto to not lose. Like that's the gimmick that I would really enjoy.
I would be down with that.
So, like, just like go, like Tai Chi's working him over, and Shibata shows up and like, "You're failing! Stop failing!"
And Shibata gets in the middle of the ring and kicks Goto as hard as he can, right in the chest, and says, "Oh, I don't speak Japanese, but essentially." Like, sounds like he's lifting 3 houses at once while telling him you fucking failed me.
Again, why do you keep failing? Then we moved on to Red Pro Heavyweight title, Tomohiro Ishii defending against Minoru Suzuki.
Jesus.
Ishii won this match. If you want to see absolute brutal Ishii and Suzuki action, please go watch this match, because I feel like words just don't even do it justice.
This was... I'm going to try. I mean, I'm going to fall short, but I'm going to try. And my cat that wants food in like 13 minutes is very insistent that I try right now. This was systematic, surgical precision, brutality for almost 20 minutes. With a generous sprinkling of no-sell. And I think that it's time that probably Suzuki did less of the no-selling, and Ishii from now on does the majority of the no-selling. I think this is I don't know if this was a passing of the torch. Yes, my cat agrees. This was a passing of the torch. So, I don't know if this was an intentional passing of the torch, but if it's not, they really need to retcon their storylines immediately and go, okay, that match, like we watched that match. We didn't intend for that to be that match, but that is clearly what that is.
Mm-hmm.
They need to acknowledge their own present history. Is that a bad term?
Their own mythos, I think.
They need to be aware of their own real-time output. Does that make sense?
That works. Yeah.
Okay, so you have to excuse me. I've had some drinks. They need to be aware of their own real-time history in a way that the WWE is laughably incapable of. And
tremendously so.
Oh my God. It's like Pol Pot going, teachers? We got lots of them. And this needs to be a watershed moment. This needs to be the kind of like, okay, Ishii surpassed Suzuki, and there's no tsunami that's going to come back and wash away that watermark anymore. This needs to be the time where Ishii clearly took over the toughest guy in the company. End of story, no questions asked. There might be a guy that's a more badass. There might be a guy that's stronger. There might be a guy that could take more punishment. But there's no toughest guy in the company other than Ishii right now. You can make different scenarios and combos, but he's the fucking bedrock. And that's it. Right now. And that's the match you're going to see.
Yep. And then we had our final 2 matches of the night. The the co-main and main event, and didn't really care for the co-main. It was Tetsuya Naito versus Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah, we were watching this, and like, was it the first? How long did this match go? 20 minutes. I think we were only like 7 or 8 minutes in, and I said, "This is not going to work. This is the Tranquilo Master versus the Master of the Rest Holds." And it was kind of that. It was a little bit better than
It picked up at some points, but the irony is that when it picked up, I started picking apart Naito's selling.
Yeah, and I wanted Naito to be the guy that carried the whole thing. I wanted Naito to be the guy that the character drove. Like Zack Sabre Jr., I really want to be on board with, but we've had this discussion before,
and we really enjoy Zack Sabre Jr. when he faces a more energetic pace, a higher pace. Someone like a Kota Ibushi. He was a fantastic match with Ibushi.
He needs to be the guy.
Fantastic match with Omega.
He needs to be the guy that's making the pretzel, not the guy that's selling the pretzel. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so this was Tranquilo versus Rest Hold. There was I would say in 20 minutes there was like 3 spots where there was a combination of holds where there was like thing reversal, or thing reversal, thing. And that was good. What was it like? I can't remember what it was that led into Naito hitting Gloria, but that was a good sequence. And there was a couple of rope breaks that were a good sequence. And I remember saying to you, I think we were pretty close to the end. Like we were probably like 18 minutes into this 20-minute match. I'm like, they're doing the rule of threes. Like they've done 2 of these, or was that the Jericho match?
That was a Jericho match, I think.
Okay, so it was a Jericho match, but it was almost the same thing. Like it was almost the rule of threes, where dude's done 3 of these, and dude's done 3 of these, and then like one of those 3 is the better of the 3. But it didn't really produce. It was a fine match. Like it's better than anything you're going to see on Raw or SmackDown by far. But it wasn't like there was something missing. There was a spark. There was a narrative. There was like, I don't know what it was, but there was something that didn't quite make it. And it was just kind of I'm going to say it's a good match, but I'm not going to go any further than that.
Yeah, Naito won, ending his 2-match losing streak against Zack Sabre Jr. We also came up with the idea that we need the One True Kyle, if you are listening, One True Kyle, to basically translate Taka Michinoku's promos at the beginning of the match for us. Because he continues to be one of the best hype men. And we were talking about, like, the whole time we needed, like, a Gato Taka or Gato Jado feud, like, give another manager to kind of battle for supremacy, which they don't really have in New Japan, which I would like to see.
Listen, fantasy booking warfare come to life. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
You got Geto, who's looking after the Bullet. Wait, are Gato and Geto both Bullet Club now?
Yeah, they're both Bullet Club OGs, the Fiery Squad, as it were.
I mean, that's fine. So you got Gato and Geto. Maybe they're toying with each other a little bit in faction, just kind of like playful teasing. If you got the complete players on your team as managers, you're probably going to win a lot of matches. It's just end of story. If you don't know about the complete players, you do some homework right now. Pause and carry on. But then you get maybe Taguchi Japan, who I can't come up with any better faction than that. That's going to work great. Damn, I'm going to Barry Horowitz myself right now. So Taguchi comes out on the mic. He says stuff in Japanese that I can't translate, and says that he's officially, he's maybe they've fallen on hard times for a couple of months, and he just can't quite figure his way past it. But he's called in some help. So he called a certain number. And that's 423 Get Fame.
Hello, Kyoto.
And so you got the complete players against Famous B.
Famous B Incorporated.
And you can't tell me that wouldn't be solid platinum.
I don't know who you are. I don't know who Minoru Suzuki is.
Who these people are? Who are these Negroes? You can't tell me he wouldn't totally say that out loud in Japan.
He would.
I don't know who these island Negroes are. Like, he would say that. I swear to God, he would. Listen, I'm not being racist. But that sounds like some comedy shit that he would pull out, because in Japan, that doesn't have the same meaning that it does in North America. Like, I'm just going to say America. It doesn't even have the same same meaning it does in Canada. At least not in my experience.
Not as strong. No, not as strong.
Underground Railroad represent.
Indeed. So, after our fantasy booking warfare break, back to the matches. We had IC title champion Chris Jericho defending against Evil. It was perfectly acceptable. Jericho is pretty much at this point a brawler, and there's nothing wrong with that. But this was fun, and Jericho retained the title. And then Naito saved Evil and announced that he will be challenging next. So, I mean, the question is, do you have Naito beat Jericho, or do you use this to make your next star at some point?
Well, to do further justice to the narrative, your boy Naito came out, saved Evil. Jericho didn't really get chased off. He just kind of fucking left. And then Naito made his announcement.
I've done my job.
Yeah, Naito made his announcement, like, the next challenger for your title will be me. And Jericho, he got on the mic and was like, anytime, anywhere. And Naito's like, right now. And Jericho was like, and then locked the gate and then walked back to the dressing room.
He pulled a Jay White.
Fuck you. And then Jericho
he gave him Madison Square Garden shout out as well during
he did.
Yeah.
Which is intriguing.
Very intriguing.
Which is, I mean, it's intriguing only so far, in as much as it's completely sold out already and has been for 2 or 3 months.
Something like that.
So Jericho did a press conference after the thing, after beating Evil, which I enjoyed that match.
And he put Evil over, like, pretty hard. Like, Evil's a tough son of a bitch. But that is the first great moment he's had. That's number 257 for me.
Exactly. Yeah. So he did a press conference saying, no, fuck you. There's not going to be a rematch. I beat that fucking Rudy Poo candy ass. Which he didn't say, because that would be a ripoff. But
and Chris Jericho is nothing if not original. Or
correct.
Dean Malenko.
Also true. So yeah, Chris Jericho said out loud, there's not going to be a rematch. Is there going to be a rematch?
Fuck yeah.
I'm going to go 70% yes, but 30% I want a surprise.
I'm down for a surprise. It's kind of like I said, is I kind of want someone else to take the belt off, someone younger with a little bit more future to him, because I think Naito is where he's always going to be. He's
going to be the other guy that should be heavyweight champion.
Yeah, and I don't really think he's ever... Like, I don't see a path for him out of that slot. Like, that's where he is. That's kind of where he's going to stay. Whereas if you have Jericho lose to, let's say, Sonata, just the first thing that came to mind, that could be a big deal.
Yeah. It definitely would be. It would definitely shake things up.
Speaking of LIJ, Zack Sabre Jr. had a great line leading up to the match where he's like, if I beat Naito for a third time, I mean, Bushi should just become leader of LIJ.
Yeah, if I beat Naito for a third time, which I will. But, spoiler alert, did not.
Did not, no.
So, I mean, I'm down fantasy booking Warfare come to life. What if Sonata beats Jericho for the title? And so somebody's publicly said that Bushi should take over, and then Sonata wins a title that your boy Naito couldn't win back from Jericho, and then
So I
So
think
that's
I
fun.
think there's something in Sonata, and Sonata's not the only one. You could go with Juice Robinson, or
Yeah, I think that's the
we're-
logical idea.
Yeah.
Like Juice Robinson clearly is going to be. I mean, he needs the next stepping stone.
And also a big deal because you get a gaijin, young guy who can do some things, who's loyal to New Japan, and if Kenny Omega and co pack up their bags and move on to other pastures, they may.
Yeah, I don't think So to anybody who doesn't know what's going on, the Elite, anybody basically on being the Elite is now part of a kind of power negotiation faction, because the majority of the people that were in Bullet Club that weren't firing squad members are now just the Elite. They're not Bullet Club Elite. They're just the Elite. So most of their contracts expire pretty much the same time, I think.
I think Marty Scurll's the lone exception to that rule.
Which would be why it's so funny to do that on Being the Elite. But there's sort of a block negotiation group which will lead into them all doing one thing or the other. There's rumors that they're going to start a wrestlers union. There's rumors that they're going to start their own faction. There's rumors that they're all going to the WWE. I think the fact that they're overplaying that on Being the Elite, the YouTube series, means that they're not going to like Cody's not going back. Not now.
Yeah, I don't really see, like, I can see it for the rest of them. I mean, it's a big payday. It's a relatively easy payday. But for Cody,
is it really a big payday?
Well, okay, in Cody's own words, you can make as much money on the independents as in WWE, but you've got to bust your ass more. There's more travel, there's less cush, there's more gigs, there's harder matches, because of course the independent scene, you're looking at longer matches that are more tough on the body.
Yeah.
But you can make the same amount of money. So I
how
guess,
much more merch can you sell?
I guess it's not big money as much as easier money, if that makes any sense, on a similar compensation level.
You just show up, follow the script, and go home.
Mm-hmm. And I just don't see why Cody right now would go back. Like, Cody's talked about how he kind of probably sees going back at some point, but it's like when he has kids or something. Like when, when he's got a family at home and he needs, number one, that stability, but number two, probably the easier schedule would, help. Whereas right now is the time to chase dreams, which
absolutely
isn't the WWE. So that's why I don't think they're going there.
Yeah, no, I'm there with you. I would be shocked if they went back to WWE. I would be 98% less shocked if the All-In thing became a federation.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the way they're going to go. I think they're going to try and start their own promotion. I think they're going to maybe not make it a promotion in as much as Rev Pro or ROH or Impact or any of those. Like, it's not going to be a federation for, I'm using air quotes if you can't tell at home, until 4 or 5 years down the line. I think they're going to be a slow play PWG. I don't know why I did that. I think they're going to be a slower play version of that, where they start as, we're going to do 2 big shows a year, then 4 big shows a year, then 6 or 8. Then we're going to start running regular shows all the time because we've got all this cooperation between ROH and Impact and New Japan and CMLL. And so we're going to start running regular ass shows around, I don't know, like not all over the US, but maybe the south central US region so that they can get people in from all over the place. I think that's 98% more likely than any other rumor I've heard. And or they could just sign a bunch of contracts like, okay, we're signing with ROH and New Japan because they've got, we can also work Impact and we can also work CMLL and we can sell merch on the indies and we can do whatever we want. And we've got a large amount of control because we already hold the power based on the narrative we're setting up on the BTE YouTube channel. We've already got an audience. Therefore, you're hiring us to come in and be cool in your organization.
That would be pretty cool.
I think that's pretty much... I don't see any other way that can go.
Yeah, it's hard to say because, I mean, I don't think that there's a promotion outside of WWE that can pay them to be exclusive.
No.
And as stated, I don't think that there's anything in it for Cody to go back to WWE right now.
Especially once he... Did you watch the episode where he whipped out the Stardust uniform?
Maybe when Vince dies.
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, if he goes... Listen, Vince dies from an aneurysm after the first season of the XFL and the second season's halfway through, and it's very clear that he's a giant fuck up and has been for his entire life. And his brain just goes... And then Triple H takes over and like, listen, Cody, brother.
I was a big fan of Dusty Rhodes. I could be a big fan of yours.
brother. We brought back War Games, brother. brother. We're all about that legacy, brother. That's the only thing. The only thing I can see...
don't bring up the legacy tag team, please.
Anyway, that's the only thing I can see. The only thing I can see is that they're a giant power block of, like, who else is bigger? There's nobody else bigger on the indie scene than those guys.
No, not in a group. No, I mean,
there's not even anybody close to their.
I mean, we're talking about Kenny Omega, best wrestler in the world, and pretty much the biggest regular draw that you have, like excluding like a CM Punk comeback or possibly the Chris Jericho stuff when he pops up, but like, in terms of you could build a promotion around, there isn't a bigger star in that regard. Nope. Cody's a massive star. Young Bucks are the most over tag team in the world. Then you add in the abilities of a Hangman Page. Is that the entire group that's currently? Am I missing someone? I mean, it's Marty Scurll, but Scurll's contract's not up at the same time.
They've in the last episode of Being the Elite, they did not mention Chase Owens at all.
I don't think he's been mentioned really much at all. What about Pimp?
Not at all.
And also, I don't see Pimp leaving New Japan. I think
no, not at all.
He's a
Which, I mean, they're not... There's a bit of a cultural divide there, but I think Chase Owens... I don't know what Chase Owens' contract situation is, but they didn't mention him at all, period. And like I was waiting to hear, because I was waiting to see if the Gaijin are sticking all together, and he's not. And did I mention this on the last podcast or just while we were watching wrestling about Chase Owens being lost in the shuffle?
I think we just talked about that while we were watching wrestling, and I agree 100%. Yeah,
I mean, you don't have any choice right now. You either agree with me or look like a fucking dummy. But it is, that's exactly looking like what I thought it would be, is Chase Owens is lost completely in the shuffle. He's not funny over, he's not athletic over, he's not gimmick over, he's he was an honorary Tongan. They were doing that whole thing where he thought he was Tongan, so he was tough as shit, and he was associated with the Tongans, and then he stuck with the elite, and now he's nothing, nowhere, not at all. I can't remember.
And as we famously complained, you didn't give him a choice. You're waylaying him with a chair before he's had a choice. Yeah, and particularly now that Robbie Eagles is in the firing squad, it's like, man, why was Pimp and Chase Owens not included in that? Really?
It doesn't make any sense at all.
It's
especially because ladies.
Waste. Yeah, it's a complete waste in that regard.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with those two guys.
But going on with our faction as well, or with our talk here, I mean, in addition to that literal group that hangs together, you've also got the links with Flip Gordon, with SoCal Uncensored, SoCal Uncensored. You've got SCU. This is the worst contract offer I have ever seen. You've got links with, a lot of the people that also help put together the All In card. So, it goes even beyond. Like there's a bit of a tangled web there. And particularly if Lucha Underground shuts down, which we don't want it to, but if it does, you have links with Pentagon and with Phoenix. Kind of mix them into the mix maybe.
And Cage.
Well, Cage has got the Impact gig. So less.
All right. Fantasy Booking Warfare come to life. Your boys, Suzuki-gun, not doing well.
Not at the moment, no.
The Killer Elite, is it Archer is hurt right now?
Archer is currently injured, yes.
What if they got another member that might have some roots in Oklahoma? And has a certain swagger to him.
Certain swagger, certain WWE rejectedness.
And they put him in like some long jeans and like an off-color wife beater, and maybe comes out with a water bottle.
Maybe. He has the lung capacity, I'm sure. Not to mention, come on, Jack Swagger working it with that theme song. Yeah. And although, please give him a better name than Jake Strong, for the love of God.
Yeah, just call him like Jack Savage or something.
Jack Savage would have been way better. That's a ton better.
See, easy done.
Easy, super easy. Anyways, I'm going to have to insist that we call it a night at this point. This has been a 2-hour podcast.
Something like that, yeah.
So if you made it through all the way, I mean, kudos to you. There was some rambling and there was some action breakdown, but I hope you enjoyed it. And we will be back probably next week, but I make no promises with my current schedule. God damn it, it's bad.